Hey guys, what's up, Cardfight here, and today I'm here with a Shadowstitch Yasuie deck profile. So this is with the new stuff from G-BT-10. So yeah, let's get right into the deck profile. So for the start right here, we're still running the Fugen from the previous set. Still a very solid booster, and he also has other, helps you put back cards that you want in your deck to clone, as well as helps you switch, reuse him as a booster if you need him. So it's quite good. Only running one. I don't really want to clone him, so one is fine. And there's a lot of cards in this deck I want to run more of, so don't have space to run a second one to clone. But yeah. So next we're running 4 of the new Yasuie. So he's a double rare, and his skill is Shadowstitch on a Vanguard and Rearguard circle. At the end of the battle, this unit attack the Vanguard. If the attack did not hit, you can draw a card. If you do, you can draw a card and then choose a card from your hand and put it to the bottom of your deck. And then the second effect is kind of last one. During your turn, when a unit tries to this card, you can pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for one of your units with the same card as the unit that you selected on your field, and then you can call it to your Rearguard circle, and then shuffle your deck. And at the end of turn, until the end of turn, the call unit gets Shadowstitch. At the end of the battle, this card attacked the Vanguard. If it did not hit, return this to your hand. So it's quite a solid skill. Instead of the old Yasuie where you get a clone 2, you get a new skill instead. And it doesn't have to go back to the deck, which is okay. And, going back to your hand is also useful because you can combo it with other things like Dual Blade and whatnot, so that you don't actually step on top of another card. But yeah. So, yeah. So also his first skill that works in both Vanguard and Rearguard circles is also very good. So overall, it's a very solid card. Next, running 4 of the old Yasui's. Not as good, but you want it for the Yasuie name, so running 4 of those. I'm not saying it's a bad card, but ideally you want to try into this thing first because it has it's better if you clone this because it has a Rearguard effect. And next we're running 4 of the new double rare. So this is EQ. So his skill is Shadowstitch on a Rearguard circle, generate 1, and then at the end of the battle, this unit attacked the Vanguard. If the attack did not hit, you can choose one of your units, and on the end of turn, it gets plus 2,000 power and the new ability to attack from the back row. And then the second effect that this card has is when this card is placed on a Rearguard circle, this card gets plus 2,000 power for each of your Yasuie units. Yeah, so since you're going to call a lot of times, you're going to call a lot of Yasuie units. With the new stride, he gets power, and he can you'll be able to do stuff with him. Yeah. Alright, so we're running 4 of the old rare. I think his name is Yashibayashi, I think. Running 4 of him, he's still very good. He can attack from the back row on his own since he has the Yasuie support ability, the second skill. And the first skill, lets you pump him up by 2k so he can attack a Vanguard by himself, but you have to Soul Blast. So since this deck does actually use quite a lot of Soul Blast, you have to keep in mind of how much you use. Mainly you use it for this one and the GR from the old set, but yeah, you can manage that. If you don't plan to use that stride, then you can just feel free to use as many of these as you want. Or if you have excess soul from your other card effects, then you can just use both. So running 3 Dual Blade. There's a new card. The new promo is pretty solid. To clone great ones, and then of course you can clone your Yasui's if need be. So not bad. And then running 4 of the old one, Onibayashi, help you get the counter charge and the soul. So you can continue using your other card effects, since if you want to use the old Yasuie Stride, that will eat up all Counter Blast if your opponent's at 5, and yeah. And this card is one of the cards I want to run at 4, but I don't really have the space to run him at 4. This is Tamba, which is the promo from the G-BT-10. I'm not sure how the English set will get it, but I almost overlooked this card because I was checking the card list for G-BT-10, and I forgot this card's a promo instead of him being I forgot this card was a promo. I thought he was. I was just looking at the cards in the set, and then I had to go check the Shadowstitch list to realize I was like, oh yeah, this card's a promo. I have to use this card, and he's amazing. This is his effect is Shadowstitch on the rear guard circle. Choose one of your normal units in the drop zone and put it to the bottom of your deck, and then at the end of the battle that one of your units attacked the Vanguard. If that attack did not hit, this card gets plus 2,000 power. So it doesn't only apply to him. It applies to all your units that didn't hit. So since this deck, you can attack a lot, especially if you chip at your opponent with 11k attacks, he can build up to be a pretty big number. And combo with this card skill, you can make him attack from the back row. So it can be pretty amazeballs. The reason why I'm not running at 4 is because you have ways to recycle them. Like for example, if you use his own skill, or if you use his skill, and this card also helps you recycle it to a certain extent if you don't want to put another trigger in instead. So yeah, running 3 of him, and running 3 Stride Fodders. I want to run 4, but I simply don't have space for it. And it can be a little risky sometimes because you do call out your grade 3s to attack, but it goes back in the deck. But if you call them out, then you probably won't be able to drive tech into those grade 3s that turn, which is actually sometimes a problem. But with the new Yasui, you call out from the G zone, so maybe you'll have the grade 3s in your hand to use. So yeah, 3 of these. The reason I'm only running 3 is because I want to make space for an extra copy of Tamba, and I need these because these go back into Soul. So yeah, you might Soul Blast these and then you put him back in the deck. But yeah, these things you can adjust the ratio if you want. I will probably do a bit more playtesting. I did some rough playtesting, but I didn't spend as much time as I wanted with this deck. I don't have enough. One of the problems is I started school again, so there's a lot of other content that I haven't released yet, like I need to work on my Gurgu deck and the Tachikaze deck and the Blau deck and stuff. So with so many decks, I'll explain that later. But anyway, I'm gonna make this short and simple because yeah. 4 per guards, per Gs to help you on flip, because it's like, again, this is Counter Blast. Mostly it's from your first Yasui Stride. And also this, but you have a lot of cards that help you counter charge. So this deck is actually very heavy on resources. So triggers, running 4 of these stands, because stand with Shadowstitch is pretty good. 4 of this trigger goes into Soul, so helps you build Soul. 4 of the 4 of the Yasui crit also helps you draw and build up Soul, and of course running heals because you want to use G guards. Yeah, so there's like a lot of decks from G-BT-10 I haven't released deck profiles for yet because I haven't tested them, and I was busy the last few weeks, so I couldn't actually go out and play. So yeah, that's why I'm pretty behind on schedule, but G-Zone. So we're running 2 of the old GR. A lot of times 2 is running 1 is enough because sometimes you might not have enough resources to do both. But if you manage it properly, like a lot of times mid game, you'll probably plan to see which strides you want to finish your opponent off with, because you'll probably have different resources available to you you know, depending on the situation. So 2 of these makes things a bit more, gives you a bit more flexibility. So 2 of these. Running 1 of the Fighters Collection Triple Rare. He can be used as a first red if you want. When this guy's placed on Vanguard circle, you can choose a card from your hand and call it your Vanguard circle, and then choose rear guards, and during this turn it gets plus 2,000 power, and it can attack from the back row. It's not as useful as it was before because I was running the old rare before, but yeah, he still has the uses. Running 1 is fine, and running 1 of the double rare, just in case, and running 4 of the old Yasuies. So yeah, 4 of those, and of course running 4 of the new one. So skill is, once per turn you can choose a face down card with G-Flip himself, and choose 2 face up cards, and then you can choose 2 face up cards with Yasuie in your G zone and call them to separate rear circles. And at the end of the turn, those cards go back into the deck, of course. And second skill is, at the end of the battle that your unit attack a Vanguard, if the attack does not hit, you can draw a card and then choose a card from your hand and put it back to bottom deck. So another thing I want to tell you guys is that their skills are good. Their Shadowstitch skills are good because if you want to clone instead, and you have a card, for example, if you have a copy of a card that you want to clone in your hand, but you don't have any more, for example, if they're all dead or you're damaged or whatnot, then you can put that card back into your deck so that you can clone it later, and it'll be in the bottom of the deck, so you probably won't drive check into it. So yeah, it's pretty good. You can draw a card and then put a card that you didn't want in your hand back in the deck, so it's pretty good. And G-Guards, we're running 2 of the Fighter Selection double rares, 1 Dismal and 1 of the previous G-Guards from the Technical Booster. So that's pretty much it for this deck. I'm probably gonna try out my Garguit deck this weekend, so that's probably gonna be out soon, hopefully. And what else? But I'm also gonna probably try out Blouse. Blouse is probably less likely though. So yeah, I'm probably gonna try out my Garguit and my Luard deck. So yeah, pretty behind on schedule, and I'm actually not sure how much playtesting I can get on the weekend, because games usually last very long and you don't really get the hang of your deck until probably a few games in. So I usually only play like 6 or 7 games, maybe 10 games, probably not 10 games, but like 6 or 7 games. So I don't really actually have a lot of time to playtest with said decks, so that's why the schedule has been pretty slow lately. I don't want to release a deck without any playtesting at all, because I mentioned this before. I want to have at least a certain confidence in the deck before I release it. So yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Cardtaku, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!